Brilliant, just brilliant. Speaking of brilliance, time and time again, and I'm just going to ask Flight Lieutenant Simon to come down. Time and time again, we're in awe of the expertise, the experience, the humour, the grace and commitment of a man who doesn't have to do what he does for this band. But let me say this, there's not one cadet who walks away from a week with him making them better musicians that doesn't remember what he says, does, demonstrates or teaches. He is a brilliant musician, a brilliant leader and mentor, and we want to pay tribute to a long-standing contribution made by this fine gentleman. Squadron Leader Buckley is a former Director of Music for the Royal Australian Air Force Air Command Band until it was disbanded, and he is the current Director of the New South Wales Corrective Services Band, as well as teaching at several schools in the Greater Sydney area. And we are grateful to have such a wonderful musician of his calibre helping our cadets. And we have a small token of our appreciation for you, sir.
Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming along tonight. Just by way of explanation, really, the repertoire that these guys saw last Saturday, none of them had seen it. So, and I wouldn't take any other band to a concert after only 5 days of rehearsal with music that they've never seen. But, you know, we're thrill seekers here with the cadets. We thought we'd go for broke. But so it's a real credit to them, and actually we had an idea yesterday that what we should do, as much we will do in future, is record day 1 and then play it to them on day 6 so they can hear. Because I can tell you day 1, I'm standing up there conducting going, oh, what have I done? What have I done? But we know they always get across the line, and I think what really happens, and certainly as I work in Arden Anglican School in one of my other jobs, I take 4 ensembles in that school, and what I find with high school age musicians is people tend to dumb down the music and underestimate what the musicians can do, and that's part of the reason why I like to program them repertoire that's slightly out of reach, because they always rise to the occasion. Some of those works are extremely hard, and you would quite a few of those works I've done with professional bands, that same music you've heard tonight. So it's a real credit to the cadets that they got here alive and got to the end. So give them another round of applause, please.
And of course, there is a man week in, week out, year out, never gives in, never gives up, despite adversity, obstacles, staff coming, staff going. He does all of this and leads the band and contributes to the betterment of music within the Australian Air Force cadets all over the country, and he deserves our heartfelt thanks and warmest appreciation. Flight Lieutenant Ben Simon.
When I tell people at work that I'm taking a week's holiday to go spend it looking after 50 teenagers, they look at me as if to say, you must be stupid. You know what, guys, tomorrow is going to be hard. Why? Because I don't get to wake up and work with you all. The last week has been a blast. As Sir said, where these kids were on day 1 to where they are now, it's chalk and cheese. And as Sir said, we always program the repertoire that little bit out of reach. And I think we need to set the bar a bit higher, Sir, because they keep meeting the bar. I've got the privilege of being the flight commander of 344 Musicians Flight. We wouldn't be in existence without a lot of support from a lot of different people, and I'd like to recognise firstly Wing Commander Paul Hughes, who was a former OC of 3 Wing. It was Sir who gave me the green light to start the band in 2015, and it's because of the trust and faith he put in myself and a team I built that you see what's before you. So Sir, thank you for your trust and support over the years. Another person I'd like to thank is Mr. Greg Reid, who is the president of the Cumberland RSL sub-branch. Cumberland have been supporting this band since 2015 with some significant financial support, such as a grant to purchase our first lot of equipment, as well as paying for venues such as the Windsor Function Centre, this is our third time here, as well as the Granville, there was a club there at Granville we used. Greg, to you and the members of the sub-branch, thank you. I hope you enjoyed tonight, and we look forward to seeing you at the next concert. I'd also like to recognise Wing Commander Kalios, who's the Air Force Liaison Officer of 3 Wing. Sir, I don't know how you do it, dealing with cadets staff, day in, day out, and your team. How you've got here, I don't know. But it's the support of you and your team makes all this possible. I can't imagine it's easy moving all those moving parts at RAF Richmond as well as other facilities, and we thank you for you and your team for your efforts. I also get the privilege of, as I mentioned, being the flight commander, but that's really easy to be when I've got a team such as myself. Georgia, Tav, John, Carl, Mel, all the others. I can't thank you guys enough. It's putting up with my vague directions, my cranky moods, which doesn't happen too often. It doesn't happen too often. Of course, Squadron Leader Buckley, guys, and all the other support staff here this week. I couldn't have done it without you. It's been a long run to get here, but we did it, guys, and we did it greatly. Thank you. I'll just hand back to Adam.
So we have some 2-year certificates to hand out. Cadet Corporal Claire Puckeridge. Claire Puckeridge. And Cadet Corporal David Vu from 324 Squadron.
Please stand by.
The 3-year service certificates, Cadet Sergeant Liam Miranda. Cadet Corporal Anthony Whelan from 340 Squadron. Cadet Corporal Joseph Darby from 303 Squadron. And Cadet Flight Sergeant Lorenzo Lombardo from 303 Squadron. Our Cadet Executive Officer for this year, and also 4-year certificate, Cadet Warrant Officer Thomas Morgan. Now this is never... Someone's doing extra duties later. This has never been done before, a 5-year certificate for a cadet. Cadet Under Officer Aidan Alexander from 321 Squadron. I think we get less for murder for this one, but Squadron Leader John Buckley, 5 years. We have 2 more special awards to hand out, and we want to ask Pilot Officer Hanny McGee to come down the front, please. Pilot Officer McGee is from 7 Wing, all the way from Western Australia. To get people here to come all that way is a mammoth effort, and we really appreciate you, ma'am, for your dedication, and we'd like to give you a small token of our appreciation. And lastly, and I hope this goes up in his office and he can say, hey, I put this together. Wing Commander George Collios again, sir, thank you very much. All right, well that's it for tonight, folks. We really appreciate you being here. Please like our Facebook page and follow us on YouTube. Parents, when we finish tonight, you'll know that we do know that you want to take your children away with you, but we ask that you give us 30 minutes so that we can pack up the venue and load the equipment trucks. To do that, can we please keep this aisle and the out to the foyer area clear? So please mingle over in this area, but please keep that side free. We thank you very much for coming and supporting us, and we really appreciate you being here. Oh, hang on. Yes? There's more? Oh, hang on. I think Wing Commander Paul Hughes, could you? No.
I reckon we've got one more in there talking about something.
I think Wing Commander Hughes could say a few words there on behalf of Cumberland RSL. Would you like to do that, sir? Thank you.
It's quite amazing when I stand here, because all I think of, and when I'm sat down there with everybody else, is wow, wow, wow. It's absolutely phenomenal what you guys do. And as Ben said earlier, you know, we started scratching this concept back in late 2014, and the big thing was about funding. So fortunately I was with the RSL at that stage, and I've been treasurer ever since. So it's quite easy to, sorry, it's not easy, but it's great to be able to get the funding. And actually just this last week we've been having a discussion about trying to work out how we can get a bus for another part of the organisation. And actually it's just got me thinking, if we combine it, if we can get these guys a bus to get them around the country, then we can probably wrap it in with what we're doing, can't we? Would that work, do you think? Having your own bus, do you think? Yeah? Look, just to say a big, big thank you. It was interesting when I was hearing the, and I can't pronounce it probably, is it Peruna Cabeza, that tango, and I always think of the film True Lies with Arnie Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis when they do that tango. That was what came to my mind there. Look, I think just to say, it's amazing how you guys have evolved, and I know, appreciate that a lot of you knew when we started this journey back in 15, apart from 2 or 3 of you that I've recognised. You know, it's just grown from strength to strength to strength, and I know certainly when then you combined with, you know, the Army Cadet Sydney Band and Green Boss, you know, that was an early conversation we had again about getting that together, and now you're doing it with multiple wings. So, you know, as OC back in thousands of years ago when we started the journey, it's been great to see how you've grown, how you've evolved, how the music's got more technical, and you as musicians are true musicians. And actually, you know, it's great. My own son started as well in the 3-wing band back in the day, and he's in 3rd year at ADFA now, and he's leading the jazz band there. So that's been great. So you can all move on to something great in your careers. Whatever you're doing, music stays with you, and music's in your heart. So, you know, on behalf of Cumberland RSL Sub-Branch, we're delighted to be your principal sponsor or your sponsor, and long may it continue, and long may you continue. Thank you very much indeed.
Now, someone said more? Oh, come on, give it to me. Do you want more or not? All right, do we have time for one more, sir? One more, all right. Here we go, by popular demand for our young cadets, Paul Murtha's arrangement of Despacito.